Dragon Age, the Veilguard, because Jeremy, we knew from the moment we got this official reveal trailer, and this was before a lot of people knew about so much of the woke propaganda that was going to be put into this game. This was just people talking about the style, the characters themselves, that it felt like they were trying to make Dragon Age feel like Fortnite or something. You saw so much of the pushback then. The video got ratioed to hell. And then we started hearing more things about the actual game. You guys talked about this article yesterday. Dragon Age the Veilguard described as a piece of garbage and the tombstone of BioWare, with some people actually coming out and saying, hey, BioWare is very intentionally not going to give review codes to anyone that they feel is going to be critical of this game. They're trying to protect this game. Unfortunately, now we do have some screenshots. We have some of the dialogue from the game itself, and it is inescapable. This thing is going to be mocked by so many people.
Mm-hmm.
Some of my friends talk about not feeling comfortable in their own skin as a man, as a woman. Oh, and what do you know? This character does also happen to be fucking non-binary, by the way. Let's see if we can get there. Here non-binary. I just said. And I'm going to use they instead of she from now on. Gender identity options in the created character. And you know what? You can establish your own transgender identity, Jeremy. Establishes transgender identity and unlocks new dialogue options in future conversation. This is apparently like a part of the plot, an actual storyline that you're not going to be able to escape. You're not going to be able to get away from. It is just going to be shoved down your throat. Of course it is.
I was told this at the meetup too. So let me remind everybody that IGN gave this game a 9 out of 10, correct? Gave this a 9 out of 10. And they love this type of shit. And it shows the disconnect from the mainstream industry, from the gamers. This game is going to be mocked so much. It's going to be mocked to the point where you're probably going to get tired of mocking it at some point in time. But this is the industry. This is what we've been talking about. I don't know, because I haven't been following the Dragon Age story that much, but I don't think that there's any Sweet Baby involvement in this or anything like that, right?
I don't think that company specifically, but the game. Remember when the game director was announced or revealed, and it's like, okay, they're a transgender person. They say that the entire game's inherently queer. This is what they wanted to push from the very beginning. And I thought this comment was interesting as well, right? Here's that medieval fantasy you asked for, the non-binary shit. Sophia Norwitz, who, by the way, is transgender. Everything is too goddamn hand-fisted in, and I'm tired of fantasy worlds existing as half-assed reflections of current times instead of actually being their own defined things. The writing's cheap and lazy, simply put. I think there's ways you could make this sort of character work, especially when you consider the best fantasy and sci-fi stories shine light on humanity's woes and our human experience, but far too many writers can't properly do it to save their life. It's excruciatingly modern and in your face.
Yep, we need an as current day rant right here is what we need. We need Az to play this, give us a current day rant. We can let the act man start crying about it, only to look like a fool through the whole process, because this is even worse than Starfield. This is even worse. Do you think so? Based on what we're seeing right now, this is even worse than Starfield.
Well, listen, I didn't really keep up too much with a lot of the Starfield stuff. All I saw was like the character creator screen for that. I didn't play Starfield. I don't know. But yes, in terms of like the in-game quests and dialogue and relationships and interactions you have with everybody, where so much of it is about accepting your non-binary friend as non-binary and all that. Yes,
Lord,
I 100% do think that that's going to be the case. And ultimately what it all comes back to is this is like BioWare was beloved for a while, but this is not the BioWare of old. It has not been for a very long time. That BioWare is completely and totally gone. And in its place, we have activists who don't care about what gamers want or don't want. They only care about pushing their agenda at all cost.
Yeah, and I mean, it's almost like Lucasfilm. You can say how much you loved Lucasfilm from back in the day and everything that they gave us. Lucasfilm today does not represent the Lucasfilm that you loved. It just doesn't. And that's the hard pill for a lot of people to swallow. They grew up on these brands, they grew up with these companies, and they grew up on, having this fandom for it. They're not the same. They have hired a bunch of activists and a bunch of people that hate the very thing that you were connected to. And just like the tweet that you just showed, like, it's all about like current daying everything. Like, oh, this is for modern audiences. I know we do the whole meme about modern audiences, but this is what it's all about. This is not about telling a story that's going to connect with people, whether it's today, tomorrow, or 20 years from now. It's about giving this kind of giving a lens to today's current culture and pushing that current ideology bullshit, this DEI initiative garbage. That's what it is. And people are going to reject this. Like, I don't know if we've seen have we gotten a budget for this game or anything like that?
I'm not sure exactly what it is. I imagine it's pretty substantial.
It's probably up there.
And the game is not officially released yet, but there are some, YouTubers who have gone in on it. Skill Up. I don't know if you follow Skill Up at all.
Yeah, I do.
He was pretty hard on it, to be honest with you. And I think one of the lines from his video is something like, every line in the game is written like HR's in the room.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was one of the lines I took from his review. And I don't think this is going to go over well. Of course, the IGNs of the world, we know what they're going to do. Nobody has any respect for them at this point in time. People have respect for reviewers and people that they trust online. Like, that's who they're going to look to. And already some of the bigger channels, some are nicer about it than others, but a lot of them are pretty disappointed in what they're seeing.
Yeah, and I've already seen the defense force for this game is out of control right now with the people. They're attacking any of these, because there's a lot of there's some mainstream YouTubers. And when I say mainstream, people that are bigger than us, like you said, Skill Up has been going in on it. There's a few other people. I saw something. Is it Mr. Pat Plays? Is that one of them? Mr. Matty Plays? Mr. Matty Plays. Yeah. Something to do with him getting caught up in some kind of controversy. I don't know what that was about.
That was about, apparently there were a couple screenshots or clips that he had sent his editor. What happened was, somebody that was saying like racist things posted a couple screenshots, and people were like, how did this guy get access to this game? Right. This kind of anonymous account. And then when Mr. Matty Plays released his thing, people were like, that's his character that he created in those screenshots. So they knew it came from him. So they thought this might've been him or his editor. What he said was that he sent some clips to his editor, who then showed somebody else, probably to show just how cringe it was. And then it kind of got leaked from there. That person was not connected to them. That's why there was some controversy surrounding him. But yeah.
So let me get this straight. People were mad because his potential editor might have said some things.
They didn't know if it was maybe his, like a fucking alt account of his or somebody, but once they realized that this is where that came from, people started pointing the finger at him about who's this racist person you're connected to, that type of thing. Yeah.
Well, if that's the case, we're fucked. Not because Danky is a horrible person who's in the chat, but we also are horrible people. So I think that's the thing is don't give these people any fucking credibility. Fuck these people. I'll just say that. I wanted to say something else, but just these clowns on social media, these activists, these freaks with pronouns in bio, a bunch of fucking weirdos that don't really matter. But I saw some controversy about that the other day, and I couldn't really understand so he didn't say it, but they think his editor might have said it. But then there's another guy that's got a Phil Labonte fucking parody account that they were saying, and then Phil Labonte was getting drug into it. I'm like, what the fuck? I couldn't understand what the true source of this was. And ultimately, I'm like, if this bothers people based on what we're seeing, then holy shit, they really must be hating Geeks and Gamers, because fuck, there's a lot of horrible shit. You know what I mean? These people are insane. So yes, there's a lot of people targeting critics of Dragon Age right now over this, and it's only going to get worse because IGN, I haven't seen the Metacritic score for it. Have you seen the Metacritic score overall? I'd like to look that up if you haven't.
Well, the game's not released, right? So yeah,
but we don't have
any real audience feedback.
Not audience. I meant the overall critics for just the mainstream critics. I'm looking it up right now.
I imagine
So,
I imagine
84.
based on the couple I've seen, mid 80s.
84. Yep, 84 right now, based on 51 critic reviews. It's got an 84. So, I think that's probably going to stay around there. It's not going to drop below 80. You got Checkpoint Gaming gave it a 100, which is a 10 out of 10. Eurogamer Germany gave it a 100. PC Games gave it a 90.
Trying to atone, okay? Just trying to atone.
And of course, IGN gave it a 9 out of 10. So this game is going to be discussed, and it's going to get roasted, and it's going to get mocked a lot. And I don't think the discussion surrounding this game is going to go away anytime soon.